Hey, it's syndicated radio talk show host, author, singer Al Cole, welcoming you to another edition of People of Distinction, the talk that gives an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. I come from CBS Radio. My shows are nationally syndicated, and I've helped pave the way to treating women, guys too, with the dignity that they deserve. And I do that, of course, with my show, People of Distinction. Aired on very dignified networks, including the biggest airing CBS radio shows, and that's Apple's iTunes radio network under their professional news talk division. They air CBS shows, Fox News, NPR, BBC, whole kit and caboodle, even C-SPAN. Best talk in the country around the world is on Apple's iTunes radio network under their professional news talk division. And coming from CBS Radio, I'm also a media consultant. What that means is that I help people to really put their messages together in gripping ways for the media, particularly interviews or any live talk that they're going to be doing, maybe live performance talk, AM, FM radio, TV, things along that line, so that they can sell their products more effectively. And that means that they become entrepreneurs. Yeah, they make money from their products. And hopefully enough money to really call it their business. And I have coached a lot of authors and coaches themselves, other consultants, and people who are podcasters, speakers, anything. People that are going to engage with the media in any way. I help them to understand what the media is really about, and what digital media is, and what terrestrial media is, and how they can best really get their products out there, their products and services in a very profitable way, and professionally network with other professionals, and also to develop a lot of contacts from what they're doing. Contact development is very, very important in media, as we know, and I help people that way. I have people all the time engaging in my media consulting. I also have my People of Distinction Humanitarian Awards events. They're national events that I formulated in New York City, 2013, and we honor humanitarian and creative unsung heroes, not only just in New York, but also on Capitol Hill, with members of the U.S. Congress, U.S. Congressman Rob Whitman of Virginia reaching out and sponsoring my events at the Rayburn House Office Building in D.C., and great events in Atlanta and also in Florida. So check us all out, everything that I do, at peopleofdistinction.org. You got it. That's peopleofdistinction.org. And you'll also see the beautiful smiling face of Ariana Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, on my website. She's one of my media alliances. With her Thrive Global Network, gets extra visibility for people as well. So check it all out. And you can email me. Anything that you want to email me about, email me at alcoleholic@gmail.com. You heard me right. That's alcoleholic@gmail.com. And I really want to thank my CBS radio listeners for coming up with that handle, alcoleholic. Seems like from day one, my listeners have been saying, Al, we love what you're doing there, brother. In fact, we're hooked on it. We're alcoholics. Love that. Coming up, we got a guy that you're going to love too, especially if you love Halloween. Now, Halloween is almost upon us, and we know that it's actually a very sacred day for many people. And for most other people, it's a fun day, and especially for kids. Hey, kids all over the place, trick-and-treating, all of that. Well, we got a guy that's already in that Halloween spirit. He's really in the spirit. He's going to tell us about all of the depth here, as well as the fun of Halloween. His name is Michael P. Siegel, and he's written a really engaging book that's called All Hallows Eve. All Hallows Eve. The Escape of the Witches. Yeah, now, we like that. All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches. About Halloween, about ghosts, goblins, all of those things. Flying objects left and right, and the kids going trick-and-treating, and more. Might even get into a lot of the deeper things about Halloween and maybe, All Saints Day and things along that line. So let's get hallowed here. And let's talk to Michael about this, the holy aspects, maybe, of Halloween as well. And you can order his great book, All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches, at Amazon.com. And he's got at least one other book there, too, on Amazon that you can order as well. And he was brought to me by his book publisher, and a great one, UR Link Publishing. They're one of the best around the country and around the world. And if you've got a book out that you want to move, or many books that you want to move, well, UR Link, they're the movers for you. So go to their website as well, urlinkpublishing.com. Welcome, Michael, to People of Distinction with Al Cole. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good, Al, and thank you so much for having me to be on your radio show.
My pleasure. We're going to talk it up here about All Hallows Eve. And Hallow has something to do with holy. And, of course, we know Halloween maybe is All Saints Day as well, and a lot of things that you're going to be talking about, including the witches, including the ghosts, and including the trick and treat, and a lot of other things. So let's talk about it here. You wrote the book, so you must have a certain interest in Halloween. Did that start when you were a kid, or did that start when you were an adult? And tell us a little bit about All Hallows Eve.
Well, I've always been a fan of Halloween ever since the good old elementary school days, and that's why I want to write the best book about Halloween. And All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches, is going to be the best Halloween story ever told and written by any author that's ever wrote about Halloween. And it's going to be a book series, and it's going to keep getting better and better throughout the upcoming books in the future. It's certainly enjoyable, not scary at all, with all the fun of Halloween.
Isn't that something? Now, Halloween, first and foremost, we think of it as fun, but it's also a deep day for many, many people. How did Halloween originate, in your point of view? How did Halloween originate to begin with?
Well, a lot of people think that Halloween's about Satan and things like that, but for me, it's another day just to have fun and with a good old time and talk about ghost stories and see if you can try to find a haunted house, and that's why I decided to write this book.
Haunted houses. All right, let's get into it. Now, when we talk about haunted houses, what makes a house haunted to begin with, Michael?
Well, it's like, every one of our houses may be haunted that we live in, but we just don't know because we just don't know what might be walking around at nighttime when we're sleeping.
But when you say haunted, what do you mean by haunted?
Haunted houses and things, it goes well in Halloween because people like to go to these haunted houses to scare other people and say, hey, there's a house that may be haunted. Let's see if it is or not, and they're finding out that it's not.
And when it is haunted, is it usually haunted because, the subtitle of your book, The Escape of the Witches, are there witches who are haunting that house? Ghosts? How do you put it?
My book, All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches, is based on 4 friends by the name of Adam, Bobby, Danny, and Jeff, who always liked it when Halloween comes every year, and they always wanted to have an adventure, but it always failed. But they had no idea that their adventure was waiting at a place called the Village of Halloween.
I see. So there are some characters in your book, and
yes.
Give us an idea of how the characters develop in your book and what they do.
Well, these characters are, Adam, Bobby, Danny, and Jeff are all 21 years old, and they live in a town called Oak Mill, Michigan. They always like it when Halloween comes every year because they call themselves the masters of it, and they had no idea that they were going to go to a place where it pertains to it 365 days a year, and that place is called Halloween Village.
Halloween Village. That sounds like a fun place here. Halloween Village. Now, that could be maybe any place in the U.S., it could maybe be any place in the world where people are having fun with Halloween. Where particularly would your Halloween village be located on planet Earth, would you think?
In this book, the boys' adventure starts at Halloween Village, and that's where you're going to see ghosts, bats flying around, kids going trick or treating, and Halloween decorations and lighted up jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. And there's a place called the House of Halloween, and that's where the two men who are in charge, and their names are Pat and Dave, who sent the boys to come down to explore this magical place so that they know the meaning of Halloween is all about.
Now that's interesting because we sometimes, like you started out, Halloween is a time of fun and a time of fantasy as well. Some people don't think of it as fantasy, but most of us, with witches and ghosts and everything. But you're saying that there's a meaning to Halloween. If you had to define that meaning to Halloween yourself, what would you say the meaning of Halloween is?
Well, Halloween is a giving it to fun and a magical thing so that people can enjoy it, because it's not all about like Satan. It's about like having fun, going trick-or-treating, telling scary ghost stories, and going to these fake haunted houses and watching Halloween movies and stuff like that.
Right. So sometimes fun in and of itself is enough. There's nothing wrong with good, clean fun. And we need to really enjoy ourselves in life. And that's one of the ways that we energize ourselves, too. When we are enjoying life, we can give life our beautiful energy as well. And maybe your book, Michael, might be just the way to have a lot of people energized, particularly by Halloween around this time of year. So people, I want you to order this book by Michael P. Siegel, our special guest on People of Distinction with Al Cole, and it's called All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches. And you can order it at Amazon.com. That's the place to get involved with the Halloween cheer, the good fun, and also the witches and the ghosts and everything, and trick-and-treating like kids. One of the great things about Halloween, and I think you're going to agree, and just like maybe Christmas as well, it's really geared more towards children than adults. However, at that point, adults get into the cheer as well, and sometimes they act like kids, which is not a bad thing. Because, see, we were all born children at certain points. We were born babies, and then we were children before we became adults. And it's a very healthy thing for adults to get into that child's phase again, with trick-and-treating, bringing their kids to the door, and actually getting along with people. Talking to some of the people that open the door. Hey, thanks for, all of this, and thanks for the trick-and-treat for my children. Brings people together as well. Am I on the right track there, Michael?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so bring people together and having good fun. Being a child again, that's not all a bad thing. Do you talk about that in your book? How adults can particularly enjoy Halloween and that child part of them again with trick-and-treating. Do you talk about that in your book as well?
Absolutely.
Give us a passage of that. I'm not saying you have to read it from your book, but what would be one of the passages in your book that maybe explains a little bit about that? Adults having fun with Halloween. Tell us about that particular chapter or passage in your book that relates to adults having fun.
Well, in this story, when Adam, Bobby, Danny, and Jeff arrive at Halloween Village for the first time, they see the little kids going trick-or-treating, and Bobby says, that brings me back to the good old days because we had so much fun going trick-or-treating, especially with our parents, laughing, having a good time, and seeing all the spooky Halloween decorations and lighted up jack-o'-lanterns everywhere.
Look at that. And you said that they were, in their 20s at that point?
Yeah, they're all 21 years old.
That's right. So they're certainly adults. When you're 21, you're old enough for anything. So they're adults, and they're enjoying life again as kids. And with your book, going from, the character development into maybe some of the big messages of your book. And we know that it's about Halloween. It's about trick-and-treating, having fun. What is the kind of like main message that you would like my listeners to get from your book, right from, the horse's mouth here, right from Michael? What's the really big message of your book?
Well, I want to thank my book publisher who made an outstanding video trailer about this story. And if you and all your listeners can go on www.youtube.com and type in the title, you're going to see this video so that way you will all know what the story is going to be about from the beginning, middle, all the way through the end.
I see. So you got a YouTube out there, and that's through your publisher, through UR-Link, I guess, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they put it together in a nice video. And hey, people, look that up on YouTube. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy the cheer, just as everybody does at Halloween time. And particularly with Michael's book, All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches, on Amazon.com, and brought to you by UR-Link, his publisher as well, UR-Link Publishing. Now, in the final couple of minutes here in the interview, to introduce my listeners to All Hallows Eve, let's say possibility thinking here, Michael. Let's invent a possibility, as if we were imaginative kids again. If we could have a world where and I'm going to put it this way, some people say, boy, if we could have a world where Christmas is every day, or one of the great holidays that we love, maybe Thanksgiving. Every day is Thanksgiving. We're always giving thanks. If we had a world where every day had the fun and the imagination of Halloween, what kind of world would that look like? Would it be a better world than we have right now? What kind of world would that look like? Just in possibility thinking here, Michael.
Well, it will be a better world because, once again, people will not be thinking about, like, finances or crisis. All that they're going to think about is about Halloween and seeing how much candy that the kids are going to get and these spooky Halloween decorations and all these different type of jack-o'-lantern designs and going to these nice fake haunted houses and stealing people and having a good old time and not thinking about nothing else but Halloween.
That's right. And see, there's nothing wrong with that. People, and I'm going to take the show out here, close out the show with a couple of cents of my own to underscore what Michael was just talking about, having some fun in life. In fact, if we had the chance to have a life of all fun, now, there would be some people out there that was, oh no, that would be boring after a while, just fun. Well, what is so great about contentiousness and all sorts of hurt and pestilence in the world and all, that's not too much fun. I don't think anybody really wants to have a world of pestilence and back and forth diversionary aspects going on and hating people. And no, if we really could choose, we would like to have a world of fun. Fun, we can't get more fun than just enjoying children, enjoying trick-or-treating, and just enjoying our lives as adults as if, wow, the innocence of love were back in our world, just like when we were children. We loved life. We loved rolling in the grass. Different things along that line. Halloween brings us back to that. It's just like you can't get too much love in your life. Nobody says, oh, boy, no, I've got enough love. I don't need any more. I want to stop here. In fact, give me a little bit of good old hatred. Boy, I'm sick of this love. Nobody would be sick of love if we lived in a loving world all the time. So let's think possibilities that way, too. Let's live in a friendship world all the time, people. Let's live in the beautiful world of a child's mind sometimes, with fun, having fun in our lives, and divest ourselves from some of the stress and strain, particularly what we call stress. Boy, there's so much stress out there. Well, let's de-stress by sometimes getting back to the imagination of a child on Halloween and the witches and the ghosts and all of that, that ultimately are not scary. They're beautiful for our lives. And the imagination can lift us back up to being people of distinction again. And that's why I call my show, and myself, People of Distinction and a Person of Distinction. Because people of distinction really means you, my listening audience, and what we can bring to your imagination and your gratitude for life itself. Love, really. Love and some of the fun around our world in ways that Michael is also talking about in his book, All Hallows Eve. And I want you to order that at Amazon.com. And I want you to remember where he came from. And he came from Link Publishing. And they're one of the best out there. And if you've got a book that, you want to get out there with that personal touch as well, Link is your publisher. Go to urlinkpublishing.com. Thank you so much, Michael, for being my special guest here today on People of Distinction with Al Cole. And we do wish you all the best with your book, All Hallows Eve, The Escape of the Witches. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah, thank you so much, Al Cole, for having me to be on your show, so that way I can tell you and all your listeners about what my book is all about. I like your show a lot, Al.